YOLO, my fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 161 of The Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is a long one, so bear with me. Let's break fast. I'm protein biscuit, but I'm super pumpkin about cookies. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please pass them on to anyone you think they would help. With that being said, here's our list of things to do today. So, just a friendly reminder, I do daily inspirational quotes for yourself, so I call them daily mantras. And if you're following me on Facebook at Kristen Haas, KristinHass, that's right, 1A, 2 S's, or on Instagram at The Best Blessed Life, I will give you inspirational things to do every day. We're going to talk about taking time to grow. So take time to grow. Because if you look at our number 5 challenge for the year, I say take time for yourself every day. And so I'm giving you kind of prompts that would help you to, sit down and write in a journal or focus on what you want to do next. Because a lot of times when you're sitting, that's the perfect time to be growing and thinking and prepping and such and such. I'll get to that in a minute. And then, of course, we're going to make 2 breakfast, very pretty healthy. I'm going to make a breakfast protein biscuit, and it sounds sweet, but it's not. It's very savory. And then I'm also making a pumpkin superfood breakfast cookie. Okay? So 2 things. I thought I was kind of skimping out on the, sorry, I think it was facing that way. I keep getting distracted by my computer. I keep kind of skipping breakfast. A lot of things that I make for dinner, you can have for lunch as leftovers. So I'm not really feeling like, and I'm not a big lunch person unless I'm super hungry. But I kind of haven't done a breakfast in a long time. So I felt 2 breakfast items were warranted. So the first thing we're going to make, I want to make, is the protein biscuit. And that is to be cooked at 375. So I have already preheated to that temperature. And you need a big bowl to put everything in. Oh, and it would be helpful if I put my glasses on so I could read what the ingredients are. So it's 1 cup Greek yogurt, 2 eggs room temperature, 1 cup flour, 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which I think is a lot, but what do I know? Half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake. There I substituted because I'm a nanny of a 20-month-old and I want him to be able to eat these. So I replaced the red pepper flake with paprika. 1 cup of spinach, wilted and dry, and then squeeze the liquid out. 2 tablespoons of chives. She did not specify whether fresh or dry, so I am using fresh. And 1 cup of cheddar cheese. So are you fooled by the biscuit? I mean, I know biscuits can be savory, but this is what it's going to be. Are you excited? Okay. So as I go through the recipe, I will be sharing the steps with you, if that makes any sense. So I've already preheated 375, and I've already prepped my muffin tin because they get cooked in a muffin tin. And I'm actually going to move that over here now because we're going to need to, I want to fill them in front of you so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I got my I wilted my spinach earlier. Or you can buy frozen, that's already cooked, and you just squeeze out the liquid. Okay, this is my flour. I think. I think it's for flour. Okay. And then in my Greek yogurt and my 2 eggs. Okay. So, in a large bowl, I'm going to whisk Oh, I'm like, where is my flaxseed? Okay, what I had a brain, had a moment there. I forgot that I put all the ingredients that are supposed to go and get whisked into the flour in with the flaxseed because flaxseed goes in there. So it's, we're whisking the flour, flaxseed, baking powder, the red pepper flake if you're using that, but I'm using paprika, the salt, and the garlic powder. And that's all going to get whisked together, which is what I forgot to grab. I always try to get I try to be more prepared, you know? Every day I get a little better. Okay, so we're whisking and we're whisking. Don't forget that I share the link for this recipe because I get 99% of my recipes from Pinterest, and I want that person to obviously get their due. Okay, so that's what it looks like. All done, or all whisked. Okay, and then this is the Greek yogurt, the eggs. I think this comes in after I'm done. I wrote the ingredients, the recipe out, so you would think I would know what's next. Okay. In separate bowl, we're going to beat the yogurt and the eggs together. And it doesn't say to get out a hand mixer or anything, so that's kind of what's nice about both these recipes, that neither of them require any kind of gadgets. I mean, I make millions of messes just by getting all this stuff together, but other than that, it could potentially be a quick one bowl recipe if you just made it on the fly. Okay, so that is our, here, I can put them in here. All right. I've had the hardest time with eggs lately. I don't know what my problem is. I don't know. Anybody else have this issue? I feel like I've asked that before. You know, make a comment. Let me know. I'm not alone. I don't want to be alone. Okay. I would use the whisk, but I feel like it would just get stuck in here. So I'm popping the yolks and I'm whisking them together. By whisking, I mean stirring. Okay. Does it say anything about not doing, okay, till smooth. Okay. Because sometimes they don't want you to overbeat stuff because then it gets, and that's when the dry ingredients are usually added. But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing a step here. And that's the other thing, there's not a lot of steps. So that's also a nice thing. And by putting the spices into the flour, I feel like it's going to get a little bit more evenly distributed. Okay. Now, my other thought was, and I'm only doing it the way the recipe said, but I feel like I would have substituted the Greek yogurt for blended cottage cheese. I feel like you're going to get more of a, I don't know, a less of a disruption in flavor. But I don't know how this is going to play out, so I'm going to do what it says. Isn't that crazy? Okay, after I do that, it says that I want to gently fold in the dry. So I'm going to just do a little bit at a time here. I'll probably do it in, thirds here. Because it's not like it says you can't just dump them all together. But this is where you don't want to over mix it, but you do want it combined. So there's a fine line, truthfully, between that and folding is just such a process. I feel like there should be such a more convenient way of doing it, but they know best, right? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about time, taking time to grow, or it's more of a command. Take time to grow. And when I mean that, it's all part of this challenge number 5. It's like part of taking time for yourself is figuring out where to maneuver next. And I know I've talked a lot about plans and goals and processes in that department and what that should look like, because everybody's different and nobody should judge where they're at. And yet we do, don't we? So it's, to me, beneficial to have a time where you're either sitting by yourself or you make a cocoon for yourself and just plan. Because I'm a grower. I want to be so informed. I don't want to be informed necessarily about politics, or I want to know about like my bigger picture. What does that look like for me going forward? And how am I supposed to get there if I don't really want to focus on it ever? Because it's a scary thought process. Who knows what the hell they're going to do later on, you know? Everybody deals with a little bit different, you know, illnesses and family issues, and all of that comes into play when you're trying to become who you want yourself to be. Not what others visualize for you. That has all been taken into consideration when you were younger and you were picking out colleges and trying to figure out your major and is school right for you? You know, those kinds of things. But now it's just like, you know the process. Now you have to figure out how to get yourself there, even if it's just in your mind. Every time I make a plan for something bigger and better, the thinking about it is one of the best parts. But when it comes to fruition, has yet to be determined for me. Okay, I'm going to stop because I feel like I've already talked through a good portion of the, you know, when I got a little curling down my head. Okay. All right. So I can get rid of, let's see, I'm going to keep this little bowl. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Get rid of some of this mess. Okay. And I think I should, in theory, chop up my spinach a little bit because I just left it whole leaves. I didn't do any kind of prep, nor did she say to. But I feel like you don't want, you know, a big old honking piece of spinach, and then it's like you're pulling it out. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, don't you? So that's where I feel, but also fear, growth goes, you know? You have to be, so remember this is 1 cup of wilted. So you have to start out with a bigger amount and then get down to the wilted part, so to speak. And then I also have the chopped chive. And I did fresh. You could probably do dry, but don't use as much. You'll be like, that would look like so much. But prepping for yourself is very important. What you want to do next in your life, whatever it may be, has to have a plan. Even if it's the vaguest, and I don't mean Vegas, has to have a plan. It has to have a plan. It doesn't seem logical not to. And I am not a very logical person, so don't think I'm judging you whatsoever, okay? I am simply saying to you that the more that I figure things out by researching and doing the work ahead of time, the better off, usually, the results are. Don't quote me on that because I'm not even sure that's right. Okay. Sorry if I whispered that. I didn't want everybody else to know. Okay. So there's the chive and the spinach. I'm sure you can replace the spinach with other vegetables if you're not a big spinach fan. I typically have not been, but lately I've had a lot of spinach in things, and it doesn't bother me. I thought the texture was going to be more, I don't know. But I'm okay with it. I do fine. I'm not going to wrinkle my face up at it anymore. I have the spinach and the chive in here. I think I'm going to start, again, I don't want to, let me just do the whole thing. And this is my cup of cheese, my cup-ish of cheese. I'm going to see what happens. I think I'm pretty close, but I, again, don't want it to seem like it's overpowering anything. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay. Cool. I suppose you could add some sort of bacon bits or cooked bacon or sausage. But I'm going to keep it the way it is because I always feel like something like this that comes like in a muffin form, you could easily, what's happening? You could easily, what do I want to say? Think. You could easily just have it on the side, you know, so it looks like a complete meal. Okay, again, I don't want to get crazy. Okay, I'm going to get my, it says to fill them 3/4 full, so I'm trying to figure out what scooper I need. I'm thinking this guy. We'll see. We'll go through and do, let me get this out of here. Go through and do like a scoop in each one, and then we'll go from there and see what happens. I mean, it makes a good amount of dough, but it doesn't seem like, it says it makes 12 muffins. If you fill them, what the heck? You only live once. And it's just cheese, guys. It does have a bit of protein in it, so that's something. That's something. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay. Okay, so I've just kind of been continuing to fold. I don't know if that's what they said. It says stir it in, but just kind of, just don't want it to be dry. Okay, let me take this. Let's see if I can get this off of there. Perfect. Voila. It actually smells really delicious. And I think my little guy that I watch is going to really love them. He loves those like egg bites with the spinach in them, so come on. And now that he's got more teeth, he can eat more fun things. You know, he's a walker and an eater. He's such a fun guy. Okay, I'm not sure the size of the scooper, but we'll see how much it takes to, okay. That actually kind of filled up the cup. Yeah, see, I probably should have cut, darn it. I probably should have cut my spinach before I even wilted it. I think that would be my way to go next time. This is the first time I've ever wilted spinach, so I'm going to cut myself some slack. Isn't that nice of me? Somebody's got to, you gotta be nice to yourself. It's important. These kind of remind me, the smell of it. I'm getting a very Cheddar Bay biscuit from Red Lobster. So I'm hoping they're as good as those. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe if I use just the one scoop per, that maybe I could have a few extra, you know, leftovers. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bake them completely and then freeze them. And then we can, or she can, if she wants to use them for something other than breakfast. Because if you think about it, it's really just the veggies. So you would still need like a meat or at least a protein and, you know, some fruit or something. could be for lunch. Brunch idea. It's a cute brunch idea. So keep all those things in mind. That just because they're called breakfast biscuits doesn't mean they're just for breakfast. Because everything in here is everyday food. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, so I should have paused here for a second so I could get these done real quick. But I'm almost done now. But I'll keep talking about growth. What is the biggest hold up for you as far as growth goes? Because I know it's just me. No, I mean, I'm not the only one. I'm just saying I'm a big part of my, well, a good portion of my growth issue. Because I look at it as like, it's so daunting. And the more I think about it and try and plot it out, it doesn't seem that bad. And I often feel like lately I've gotten some profound thoughts that have made me feel a little more like, you know, it's going to work out. I am only going to get 12, FYI. Everything that you work hard for and, you know, devote time to this one's so spinachy, should be, you know, something you love and want to devote time to. So that part right there is a good portion. If you've got that handled, I'd say you've got a good bit of control. And then talking yourself through so many things, like I say to myself, what's scarier, staying where you're at or moving forward and growing? And I'm a firm believer that if I stay stuck where I'm at, I'll lose my mind. So it's important to talk yourself through a lot of things in life, decisions you have to make. And I'm saying specifically for yourself. We all have to make decisions for our own growth. And it's important that you pay attention to how your body reacts to certain things. Let me put this in the sink. I just want to scrape the bowl real quick. How your body reacts to things and how you treat those reactions. Like, do you think they're saying something to you? You know what I mean? Because all that is important stuff to focus on. Because if it's making you sicker, then maybe you're not headed in the right direction, you know? And it's important to see what works and what doesn't. And yes, sometimes those moves can make you sick. They can truly make you feel like, oh my God, did I really spend all this time working on this, struggling through things, and to find out that I just was supposed to not go this way? It's a very humbling thought process. So it's a big task. But if you take it in small increments, like I've been saying, a lot of times that is the best way to go. And not to overthink, and always think of side maneuvers, detours, ways that you can handle things without like spending a lot of money or focusing too hard or too long on any one thing. Those are all like key to more of a successful outcome. Okay, here they are. Aren't they beauts? Okay, now these go in for 20 to 22 minutes or until golden or toothpick is clean. We know how much we feel about those toothpicks, don't we? All right, and then I'm just gonna move on to the next one. I'm gonna do the 20 minutes to start. The nice thing about the pans that I'm using are they're the ceramic ones, so they work really well. So for this reason I'm mentioning it, for this next recipe, she wanted you to wrap it in a little aluminum foil and then spray that. What I'm going to do is just spray, or I might even just use my slip hat, which is a silicone mat for baking or whatever. This guy. And I used it for the cookies I made last time. Holy crap. They're so delicious. So freaking delicious. I even have a little side note about what I'm going to do with the leftovers. I'm going to crush them up, and turn them into a crust. So a cookie butter cookie crust. I think it warrants itself to go with cheesecake myself, but you know, we'll see what happens. Okay, so super delicious. I love the technique. I'm going to try it on one of my older recipes for blondies here shortly and see if that technique works for bars as well as just not plain cookies, delicious cookies. Okay, so for this next recipe, we're going to need to reduce the temperature to 350. And the ingredients go as follows: a quarter cup of coconut oil, a quarter cup of honey, half cup of pumpkin, 2 eggs beaten, 2 cups of oats, 2/3 cup dried cranberries, 2/3 cup pumpkin seeds, which I have a substitution for because I didn't have any pumpkin seeds. So I substituted pistachios. And then 2 tablespoons of chia seeds in this yummy cookie. And then 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So then you would prep your cookie sheet. I am going to spray mine, but I haven't done it yet because I was using it as a tray. Okay, then what you want to do is you're going to microwave your coconut oil and honey together, and you want to let it in like 10-second increments, and you want to let it cool. Okay, so that is what is in here, is my honey and coconut oil. So this is my substitute for sugar and my substitute for butter or vegetable oil, right? And then it wants us to, so you allow that to cool. I don't know if I've said that. So it won't cook the eggs. And then you just basically mix in the rest of the ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the, the oats in the bowl, excuse me, so that it can absorb all the yumminess. Did I mention the dried cranberries? Yeah, 2/3 cup dried cranberries. I forgot my utensils. Okay, hold up. Hold up. I was going to rinse these off. Why get more dirty, right? We just don't want our pumpkin... Oh, crap. We don't want our pumpkin... Sorry about that. Mixed with chive. That probably wouldn't taste very good, I'm guessing. And I believe I buy a nice wildflower honey. I could be mistaken. I could be making that up. And then I use organic, you know, what is it, raw pressed or cold pressed or something like that. All right, so I'm going to mix these two things together. I actually had my salt mixed with my oats. I don't know if you heard me on that one. And then I am adding to this also, I think I did like a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. So I'm going to put the pumpkin in next. I really wish I would have grabbed another spatula. Sorry, guys. All right. Get these scraped off. Just makes getting the pumpkin in there more easier than good, right? Okay. All right, get in there. Oh, and then I just have to measure out my pumpkin spice because I make my own and I haven't measured it yet. But, I mean, give me pumpkin anything, anytime, day or night. You know this of me. I am the pumpkin queen. So good. Just the smell of it makes me happy. Okay. And then this is my 2/3 cup of cranberries and my 2/3 cup of pistachios going in. Yummy, yummy. And then here's my vanilla. This is the chia seeds, two tablespoons. And then, oh, we got 2 eggs. Let me measure this out real quick first. I hope I have it. I think it's going to be just, yep, just enough. Perfect. Okay. Get those out of the way. I'm going to leave that there, actually. Take that too. I'm trying to, get my ducks in a row here. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do, did I seriously took this when I didn't want to? Okay, let me get the eggs in there. I got some fresh eggs from my niece, but I want to use these up because those can stay out for a while because they're unwashed. So they're good for a few weeks. But I will hopefully be using them in, oh my gosh, this smells so good, in a recipe very soon. Oh my gosh. I was so sick last weekend for Memorial Weekend. Fun stuff, right? Nope, I stayed home, coughing up a lung. I'm feeling better, but I still have a crazy cough. I might have gotten crazy about the old, these seem very moist. I might have to add, I think I might have got a little crazy with the pumpkin. And with adding the vanilla, it might be a little bit too much wet. So I'm going to put in a bit more. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm assuming I didn't get a textural, I like to know texturally where I am when I'm in a recipe. So she didn't mention like what it should look like when it's done or how thick it should be or any of that business. So I do know or feel like I used more than a half a cup of pumpkin. So I am just trying to get it to look not so wet right now. And I think I've almost achieved that. I think I might have almost used a cup of pumpkin, to be honest. I'm a pumpkin girl. Come on. And it's so good for you. I give it to my puppy twice a day as a treat. He also gets coconut oil as a treat. His hair is he's such a handsome guy. All right, I am debating. It's kind of looking like this. Pretty thick. I'm debating. Let me think here. Okay. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't want it to be gooey messes either. I want the little guy I watch to like these too. I'm not sure he's ever had dried fruit. I could be wrong. Might have had raisins. I don't know. God, teeth though. I remember my oldest didn't have teeth for so long. I'm like, oh my gosh. Listen. Almost started chewing and spitting it in the, no, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Okay. All right, guys. Now I'm concerned that I don't have enough spicing. Oh, it smells so good though. Okay. This brings me back to, I used to make granola all the time. I loved making granola. Okay, so, yeah, don't ask me how I put my eggs on the soap pad. blah, blah, blah. All right, so here we go. We're going to put this on here. And then I want my... Another thing is it didn't tell you how many cookies it made. So I'm just going to use this guy. You know, I should, if I had thought about it, I should have made those into mini bites. It's okay. It's all right. I don't think these are going to... Oh, I am supposed to smush them down a little bit. Flatten them. I think it's just because they don't, you know, do anything on their own. So if you want to eat them like a ball, go for it. But they're showing them as more a flat cookie. Maybe I should use my... I'll make the balls first and then go from there. Okay, I'm back. The biscuits are done. And these are just about done, but I figured I'd come back and I'd take these out of here. Now, I'm not sure whether these are the type of biscuits that need a little butter or not. So I have that prepared as well. But they turned out really nice. They're not quite completely cooled off, but I figured I'd sample one real quick. If I could ever get them out of here. And then I have the other cookies in there, so I'll be able to sample one of those for you too. Oh my gracious. All right, well, I'm gonna give it the old college try here. So one, I'm noticing, it's kind of sticking to the paper. That's kind of a bummer. Look at that. Maybe if I let it cool a little bit longer, it'll stay. So I'm not gonna be judging it just by that. I would say it probably needs a little bit more salt. So I'm hoping a little salted butter. But otherwise, I like it. It's a good texture. Try not to... Yeah. Wow. That's really great. It definitely needs the butter. Okay. So sadly, I'm hoping this is just a fluke because I didn't let them cool all the way. But it could be a lesson learned that you don't use liners for this. As I'm trying to get them all out. We should almost be ready to sample them. Oh my gracious. These just do not want to come out. I like it. I like it a lot. Especially with the butter. The butter just brings it home. It needed that saltiness. And it needed... I'm trying to figure out what to call it. So... I like that one. I like it a lot. Minus. And I wonder if she used liners, because she would have known yes or no whether it worked or not. Okay. So now I'm going to bring the cookies over. Don't ask me why I'm moving all that around. Okay. Waka, waka, waka. All right, these have been going for 15 minutes. I'm not really sure they need much more. I don't know how you test on, oh, that has no, flour or anything in it. My thing would be like, I would love to put some, it's a solid cookie. A good solid cookie. All right, I think that while it's hot, and let me get these other ones in here real quick. Okay, so while they're sitting here, I think because they're 99% healthy, I want to take a little bit of the healthy away and just give it a little shake while they're hot of a dusting of cinnamon sugar. You just need a little, you know, I was thinking about doing a drizzle of, you know, I was trying to think of a drizzle I could use. But technically, I could just drizzle some, like make a honey, I think of a honey buttercream recipe somewhere. All right. And now hopefully this will stay. I'm afraid to bite into it. They're really good. They're kind of fall aparty. It could be because I added too much oat. I like the flavor. What was I going to say about it? I would reduce the amount of pumpkin pie spice by just the smallest amount. Because frankly, if I had left the recipe the way it was, it would have been way more intense without adding those extra oats. I wouldn't even think these were healthy. I swear. And the amount of cinnamon sugar I put on the outside. Highly recommend. That's like granola in cookie form. So good. So good. All right, guys. I think I talked your ear off about taking time to grow. But I think you need to understand that I know you probably take time for yourself. I'm just trying to make it so that you feel you're accomplishing something even if you're just sitting. Processing things is just, and research is a sitting job. Trust me on this one. So if you break into that kind of thing slowly but surely, taking that little time every day, you'll really go far. All right, guys, I think that about covers it. I want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate all my supporters. You guys are awesome, rock stars. Keep watching, keep sharing, keep getting people to subscribe. I love you all. And with that being said, I hope you have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self. And please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching. Try these cookies. They're really good. Bye.